In this third episode of the Giga Streams build-out between Simon and myself, we're filling out the About Me section for our shared workspace. This is a huge thing to accomplish, even though it might seem like a small thing, because every bit of information that we feed the AI about who we are, what we're doing, and why we care about all of these things, that gives the AI more and more information to give us what we need each and every step along the way in the future. And when the AI gives us better information at each of those steps, that's compound interest, because that better result at each step helps get better results the next step and the step after that. So this is a huge part of the process. Real quick, check out GigaBrain and Focus Streams, our respective products. They make thinking and working in Tana smooth and powerful. The Mindshift Mechanics course is active right now. We're about to start the second week. You can still buy a seat now, and I recommend it, obviously. Finally, Simon and I are going to have a special announcement coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled and your ears open.
I think the guidance that we had left off wasn't too much, if I remember correctly. But let's go straight into the About Me.
Okay. I will share my screen.
Yeah, because this is where we're really going to personalize everything for the system coming forward.
Okay, now, just for your information, I added this Giga stuff here because these things got deleted in the from the original GigaBrain schema in the process of moving things over.
Okay.
And I was kind of at a loss, like, okay, how do I find the highlight guidance and the bucket guidance, because that was the method that I used. Okay.
Okay,
But
cool.
now
So we've got
we're
an
going
easier
to
way.
yeah. Now we're going to the About Me, which is inside Rooms. And yeah, this is just the placeholder stuff. So let me just remove that, and we're going to call D. Now,
Hi, D.
so obviously we're starting from scratch, and let's decide before we start talking with D how we want to go about this, because I think that we don't have to call ourselves a new name or anything, but like we should act as if we're one entity, even though we're two different people, two different companies technically working together, but it's a collab. It's an album that we're playing together.
Well, I don't even think we need to necessarily even establish a company per se. It could just be two solo entities working together. So as far as this is concerned, it's a team. So I would still treat it as a team, because then that's also replicable for other people as well, I reckon. So
Yep.
let's go under the assumption it's a team for an unknown organization. Doesn't particularly matter, but we are both two solo entities, and let's see how it
Okay.
approaches that.
Okay. I'm gonna leverage whisper flow for this so it's a little more natural. Okay, hi D. What we're doing is I, Nick, and my partner in crime, Simon, are working together. We're not normally part of the same organization, but in this workspace we are. And so we need your help to create the About Me guidance for this setup. All right. Okay, so what are names and professional roles? All right. All right. And then how do we work together. Okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah, my name is Nick, and I am a product designer by trade and expertise. Although I've worn a lot of hats over my career, including startup founder. I've got an advanced degree in data science, but really product design is where most of my expertise is in, practically speaking. Simon is also a designer, but more of a traditional designer of spaces and things, and the 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 graphic aspect of things. And we are collaborating on a very specific project that is named Giga X Streams for now, where it's combining the capabilities of two products that we've built separately, and we're kind of integrating them into an even more powerful experience. Is there anything that I should add?
Um, just
It
one
was weird for
second.
me to like say your role like that, but I think it wasn't
Yeah,
too
I
bad.
understand, but I'll tell you something now. One second.
Mm.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna try something. You hit
Oh,
enter.
right. Can you see it? Are
Um,
you able to?
I'm having a little test now. Hang on. You hit
Okay.
enter, and we'll see what happens first.
Okay.
Okay. So yes, to begin with, I'm getting live updates from the chat that you're in, and I can
Nice.
also now feed into this
Oh, that is
with
cool.
my own personal about me. Okay, and you should now see the live up. There we go. Okay.
Oh, that is awesome.
So now we can both have a conversation with D.
Nice. So you could be in a meeting with a dozen people, and you would want to be careful that you're not stepping on other people's toes too much in that meeting. But yeah,
Technically, yes.
if you're somewhat organized about it, you could
You
have
can
everyone
share
contributing. Yeah.
you can have share the AI chat. So now we have an actual workflow that not necessarily that the audience needs to see my screen, but we can have I can feed in stuff.
It shows that you contributed separately
Hmm.
too. Like there's me and there's Simon. Cool.
I mean, these are things I would expect in a shared workspace, but I didn't know that Tana was at this stage with it because we've never really
Yeah.
played with it.
And who knows if they even like intended that, but it's there.
It's
So it's
there,
really
but
cool.
okay, so let's continue. So now I've basically given Gigabrain, well, I've basically given D my personal about me section that was on my Gigabrain. Okay,
Hmm.
so I think you could possibly do the same
Yeah,
if you needed
I'll have
to.
to. I'll look for mine. Uh, Go ahead and you want to narrate while I do
Yeah, you
things.
have a little gander. So if I have a little, I can now have a look through pretty easily of this as well. So if we're taking a quick ganders, can you scroll up so that the audience can see
What are you looking for? Keep going.
just a bit just before? Okay, so yeah, great. I'd love to help you. So we're effectively being asked our main content. So what is all about us? And this is going to be used mainly to enforce the AI and to enforce Charlie and the other agents that we've got within the Gigabrain, how we want information to be provided to us, how what type of information is important to us. So I've given it things like my profession, my experiences, my interests, my background, and that is just some small details. Doesn't have to be your whole life story, but the intention is that it gives the AI some direction about what is important to you, and the more accurate you can be with it, the better your results are going to be. So now Nick has entered his his about me section.
Yeah, and I just entered like the first. So in my personal about me, there's tons of stuff, but I only included the first real couple of paragraphs of it.
Same. I kind of left out the specific projects and things like that because there's certain searches within my About Me page, and I didn't want them to cross-contaminate on the workspaces. So I've
Mhm.
left those out, but anything text-based, I've just popped in
This
there.
is this is really cool. Dee went ahead and just created these sections of collaborative strengths and key objectives and values. Like some of these she pulled things out directly, but other things like she just came up with those on the spot. Nice.
So, I mean, this is pretty cool. Key
Hmm.
objectives. Okay. Does this capture our partnership effectively?
I think it's good enough at least.
I think
Is there anything?
no, from like a general perspective, yeah, I think this is probably a fair starting point. If we start to see some funky hallucinations and stuff in the data, then we'll go back through it in a bit more detail, but a lot of this looks fairly familiar.
Yeah. If anything, like nothing is jumping out to me as like wrong. If anything, there's just some things
Some of it
that
might be
we
too
didn't tell
generic.
her or she didn't catch maybe. Yeah, and we can
Yeah,
work on that later if we
like
want.
like I get some of the vibe from one or two of these things that they are a little bit too generic, like
Hmm.
creative exploration and strategic thinking through pattern recognition and knowledge gap identification. I mean, yeah, it's a very long-winded way of saying something, but okay, fine. For the time being, we'll deal with it. I think so,
Hmm.
yes. So we'll go with that for the moment. It's so cool that I see it updating on my screen as well at the same time. Okay, so we now have the
Oh,
Pollard's
oh, I
Foundation.
was expecting a lot more from her. Hold on, hold on. Let me actually just speak. I was expecting actually a more complete profile because this is a good start, but I wanted actually more detail about what we're trying to accomplish and how we want to work with AI and all of those things. Can you help us flesh those things out? I think the fact that we were like both throwing things in and kind of jumping things
Yep.
a couple different times. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, let's just work our way down the list.
Mm-hmm. What does
Okay.
success look like for the product integration? Well, I would say we've already had some level of success with that. Like, everything's all working, everything's going through, but what would really kind of solidify it in our regards would be exactly what we're doing now, which is testing it in the real world. Like, fruitionally, fluidly with projects and other things. I like to make up words. My dyslexia is part of that. Enjoy.
Flexidebibly, yes, indeed.
Flexibility. Just lean into it. It's okay.
Yes, it's friction and walkman. I just tongue tied myself trying to make up a word. Okay. But yeah, so I guess so the project itself, let me actually kind of record this as I'm thinking. For the Giga Streams project, one of the goals is to test the real world applicability of everything being integrated and applied in a somewhat complex workspace. As far as the product or the combination of the products, we're hoping to get some next level capabilities through that integration. And we want actually the test that we're running in this workspace using this project to inform us what some of those next level capabilities could be. How's that?
Like, you're a lot more fluid with the with speaking to the AI than I am. I tend to be like, and I've gone quiet for like 10 minutes or something, and then realize I'm still transcribing.
Which is actually one of the nice things, though, for those when you're recording like voice notes, it cleans those things up and
Yeah.
just sticks to the high points. Even if so many times I repeat myself like the same point 4 different times, and it just kind of captures the best version of it, you know?
Yeah, but I also notice as well that there's a certain element of uh like I enjoy the fact that it's kind of listening and waiting for to take the words, but it's not recording everything down from that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so let's see. Did we answer these first questions then? I think we kind of did. Biggest unknowns or decisions we need to resolve. I don't know.
oh,
I think we kind of answered that with what we said already, or is there something else?
no, my headphones are like I need to disconnect them from my phone because they're like going back and forth. Okay, I think that's good for the next bit because
Mm-hmm.
like this is effectively what we're setting out now as the goals, the aspirations, the what does all of this look like? But yeah.
Yeah, so we covered all of that basically.
Mhm.
And then what about beyond the product integration?
What other results do you want?
Hmm.
So there's a couple of things that we had ideas for here. One of them was how we can get it to optimize the workflow with snips in the focus streams. We also wanted it to be able to collaborate ideas and identify patterns in our own deep work when we're coming together. So, because we're both feeding into the same GigaBrain, this is actually going to get quite interesting because it's going to have access to it. Yeah, okay. This could be quite interesting because it won't be disconnected in two separate systems. It's going to be as part of one bigger. I understand what's happening a little bit more now. So, all of the above, I guess. Business development and workflow optimization. Let's start with that.
So, speaking to beyond the product integration, the short answer is we want to do everything that you listed. I think it could be very useful for the language of marketing and positioning and any content creation that we do, but also sparking ideas for further integrations that we hadn't thought of and identifying things like pain points and value propositions and accelerating the way that we collaborate on the product, which could be through knowledge synthesis and workflow optimization, but anything else that turns our two brains into something more than the sum of the parts. Okay. What about
Very
success
detailed.
metrics?
Very deep, very detailed. I like it.
What would success be?
I don't think we know just yet, I'll be honest. Like, this is so much of an experiment to see what happens when you start collaborating. Because it's you, me, and Giga right now. That's the way we're dealing with this. It's not just you and me collaborating on it. We are integrating both of our ideas and our thought processes and workflows and knowledge structures, and we're putting it all into one Giga brain for the benefit of a company or an organization or a team. So
Yeah, well, we're testing. This is really cool, actually.
yeah,
I'm going to record something and then, yeah, and then give me your feedback, your thoughts
okay.
after that. As far as success metrics go, one of the things that we're testing is what kind of collaboration and how deep collaboration can go when it comes to humans working together, but also humans working with agents and all of the above working inside and with Tana across experiences. So that's people, agents, and the Tana system all working together. And as far as a success metric, really the biggest success metric is that we learn a lot of things about that. If it turns out that that's also an amazing experience that unlocks all sorts of superpowers, that's even better. But just learning about those things are the most important aspects. Okay, what are your thoughts?
Let me reread that as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because
Should I hit send?
yeah. Because really, what we're trying to achieve here is how does Tana work with a team, but then how does this system work in a team environment as well?
Okay. So as we read through this real quick, I want to point out to anyone watching, uh, this is one of the powers of working with AI in this way. Like Simon and I are just talking to each other, and I'm just well, we both were talking in different ways with the AI, and we are working in concert, in partnership, and like we're getting ideas. There are moments that are sparking between Simon and myself in our conversation, and then I'm like, okay, here's something, and I spit that out to the AI, and the AI is combining all of that and putting it back out to us saying, okay, this is what I got from that conversation. What do you think? And this is collaboration on every level.
Just reading through what it's saying here. So, yep, in terms of beyond the product integration, the AI should accelerate marketing language, positioning, content creation that articulates the integrated value proposition, identification of previously unconsidered integration opportunities. Yeah, we haven't. It hasn't returned back anything about a team experience, though.
We haven't talked about anything in that way.
True.
Do you want that? That's an interesting question.
Well, that's what I was kind of, I guess, proposing before. It's like, do we want to highlight that's a, do we want to highlight that? Well, we don't really need to highlight that Charlie's part of the team or anything like that, but okay. I think
I
let's ready to move. I think let's move on to the next bit.
Yeah, I think if we started like throwing around terminology like team and stuff, it might get confusing to the AI that
Agreed.
starts using the about me in the future.
Well, we already turned around and said actually that we're operating as two individuals, and okay, so
Mm,
let's leave that there.
yeah.
We
Yep.
want to turn around and reroute this chat now back to filling out the about me section because it's trying
Yeah.
to move on to
Well, this
something
this
else.
is no, this is about no, this is part of the about me. It's not about the about me is yeah,
I'm with you.
it the name is about me, but it's really like uh it's informing Charlie or the AI that creates highlights or anything else is telling the AI this is what's important to me as far as what you're doing. So yeah, how you want to work with AI is very important for that.
Okay, I stand corrected. So let's move on to the next bit. How do we want to work with AI as a collaborator, really?
Yeah. What does that
But
mean? Yeah.
well, we're kind of using. Okay, we want the AI to record highlights or process highlights that are beneficial to the progression of our goals and aspirations that we're setting out in the About Me section. So we want the AI to be not doing things for us, but presenting us with opportunities and ideas and inspirational aspects and connections that we are also discussing with it. There may be a gem somewhere that links better to everything else, and you and I might be blind to it, and he might pick it out.
So what yeah, I think this is a good framing. So if the AI over indexed on something that there's two lists maybe to think about
Mm-hmm.
it. The AI over indexes on all sorts of things. What's the list of things that we're like, I'm okay with you over indexing on that because I really want that? And what's the other list of do not over index on that? If any, how you really don't want extra of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. These are also things that we might be able to add as we go through a system that I was thinking about earlier, actually, as well.
Mm,
So, how about this? At the bottom of all of this, we want to add some characteristics or attributes, and these are things that we could adjust the rulings as we go. So we can just
mm.
tag something as this is a new firewall and this is a new wall to, this is a new approval thing to go through. I think Andrew does something similar in his system, but that's kind
So
of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
the list we can do after we finish this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
maybe how would we want to describe the AI that the perfect AI that's working with us would be curious? Would it be efficient? Would it be what would it be?
I mean, I've always gone by the idea of I'm curious by nature, so curious is a good one, but I want it to be a little bit creative.
Hmm.
I don't want it to assume everything, if that makes sense. There's a lot of
What do you
chats that I
mean?
have. Well, I was about to say, there's a lot of chats that we can have with AI sometimes, and it just goes like it just reels stuff off, and you're like, no, you just assumed off a very small prompt what I wanted. So there's a few little barriers that I want to go through sometimes. Like there's a way to almost treat it so that we're having a conversation with AI and not so it's assuming what we want every last second of the way and giving us the entire answer within a prompt of "Hey, how you doing?" I don't need an essay back for "Hey, how you doing?" I want it to respond with "Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?" Not to say that that's the level of conversation we're gonna have with it, but it's almost like a 1-2 step, not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before it comes back to you. I don't
Hmm.
want it to run a mile before it walks every time in the conversation. That can be exhausting.
Okay, I'm trying to thread this needle because this about me is used both by things like Charlie and things that happen automatically, like the highlight generation.
Yeah.
So,
And there's nothing wrong with finding a middle ground between that, but there's almost some type of like when I'm chatting with AI, I want it to be like this. When I'm doing this, I want it to be like this. When it's
hmm.
there might be something we can do there, but for now, let's do it the way that feels correct for the way you've built it.
Let me try something.
Sure.
The ideal AI is going to be curious on every level, including curious about us, Nick and Simon, and what we want and how we approach things. What do you think?
Yeah. I also want it to use our language and our terminology and not and kind of be an extension of us to a certain extent. That way it will feel more natural.
As much as possible, I would like the AI to use our language and terminology so that it feels like it's part of our in group that we're speaking to. Anything else?
I think I think that's good.
Okay. That's good.
Good. Proactive
Yeah.
versus responsive balance.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Scope of
Well, this
connections.
is a question.
I know it's asking us for more
Ah.
information on it, but I think it's positioned it quite nicely.
Hmm.
So scope of, should the AI process.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's give it some answer. So, given your focus on the unknowns or unknowns and serendipity, should the AI proactively surface patterns and connections without being asked or wait for your queries? It should proactively surface patterns and connections. Yes,
Oh,
I would
really?
say so.
Okay. That was not the impression I was getting from what you were saying before.
No, that's why I was saying I wanted to go off and find these patterns and connections,
Oh,
but I don't
okay.
want to have a conversation with it where it just goes off and answers an essay back to me when I just asked it how you doing. It depends
Hmm.
on the level of context of question, I guess. But you get to a point where you're having a chat with it versus where there's a certain it depends on what I'm doing with it. So I guess I might be speaking out of context in this instance. What we're going through here is fine, but sometimes it can go a little bit crazy. Should the AI prioritize how often? Oh, sorry, I missed one. How often should it volunteer insights and respond to specific requests? I mean, I kind of want. Okay, so it might not have understood then from what I was getting at. So we'll dodge over what I was assuming would happen, and we'll just continue further forward. But it should proactively surface, in my opinion. I don't want to change what's going on naturally with the Giga Brain.
Okay, let me record that real quick. We're looking for AI that will be proactive in surfacing patterns and connections. It doesn't have to wait for us to tell it to do its job. At the same time, the reason that the curiosity about us and what we're doing and how we work is important is so that it will check in with us and not make too many blind assumptions. So proactive, but also curious about us. How's that?
That's a yeah. I think that communicates what I'm trying to establish. Should the AI
Okay.
prioritize broad connections across completely unrelated domains, or focus more on design, product, business, and insights?
Hmm. We're not going to be even talking about completely unrelated domains, I don't think. And if we do, then it may appear unrelated to the AI, but it won't be because we're talking about them. So I think we should encourage as much connections across any domains whatsoever. What do you think?
I would agree.
Okay.
I would agree. How far afield should it go when making these connections, though? It's the next question. Any domain will stay certain boundaries.
Boundless, I think.
Yeah, to a degree. I don't want it to
Hmm.
turn around and start giving me art history, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
don't think
quantum
it's.
mechanics, like I don't...
Hmm.
Like, how unrelated is unrelated is the question here. Because now we have web access with Tana, so it could be very unrelated.
Yeah, I'm noticing like a trend in like I'm typically thinking about the highlight generation, and you're typically thinking of the conversations. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, because there's a certain level where in my workflow, I'm generating the highlights and then I'm reviewing the entire project, including those highlights, and the AI is getting the picture from that, and the highlights are returning to me in my own words and transcripts and everything. So when it's being all collected together and I'm reviewing stuff, the chat is where the deep work's happening, the deep thinking's happening, because that's where I'm having a conversation and chatting out all of my ideas and recording all of down everything down again.
I have an idea. Okay. As far as the scope of connections, the AI should feel complete freedom to work across unrelated domains in providing insights and connections to us. However, when it comes to conversations, there is a certain limit to the logical connections that should be drawn unless we encourage the AI to go further. See if that works.
Okay, and finally, detail level.
Man, honestly, I want all of the above, and I want it to know when.
I was about to say. I would say, should it provide multiple options? I would say don't have any restrictions on the level of detail. Just give it no restriction.
For the level of detail, I don't want to give any hard restrictions. I want to give a lot of freedom of movement to the AI for choosing whichever response and whatever level of insight is most appropriate. And if it's not good enough in one direction or another, I or Simon will provide feedback in the moment. There we go.
Let's go.
And yeah, every minute that we're spending on this about me results in such compound benefits because everything that is sent to the AI includes this information. So the AI knows how to work with us and what we're working on, all these things. Okay, reading
So
through
now what we
things
got
now.
there?
Yeah.
So the ideal agent should be curious on every level about Nick and Simon as individuals, about your goals and approaches, about the work itself, and about the broader patterns emerging in your from your collaboration. The AI should adopt your language terminology to feel like an integrated member of your working group rather than an external tool. This includes learning your specific vocabulary, project references, and communication style. So this is quite nice. Be proactive in surfacing patterns and connections without waiting for explicit requests. This is core to the AI's job. Balance proactive and curiosity about the humans.
No, that's
Wow.
good.
Yeah, that's just very it's a very funny Terminator sort of feeling. Check in regularly rather than making blind assumptions about preferences or direction. Exercise complete freedom to draw insights and connections across unrelated domains when providing analysis. I think this is pretty good to go. I think this is
Yeah.
fine. It's a
Yeah.
little bit generic again in some areas, but we'll, as you said, we will refine.
I think this is amazing. I don't know about you.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know how far I got with my other one. I don't think I did this section on mine, which is what I'm kind of like
Hmm.
thinking through in my head now.
Hmm.
Because I didn't actually specify that, and I'm thinking of it in my own mannerisms now, my
Hmm.
own system. So,
Domains.
what domains do we follow? Oh, I've given it mine.
Oh, yeah.
One
Um,
step ahead of you there, mate.
but yeah, I didn't include that, but I can include. I'll paste mine in. There we go.
Nice.
So yeah, that's done then. Information sources. Um, I don't know. We don't even need anything for that really. I don't
Not
think we
right
need to
now.
specify.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Other events, announcements, changes that would always trigger a highlight. Competitor moves, technology releases, industry events, regulatory changes.
Yeah, same for that. No need to go into
Oh,
that, I don't think.
yeah, yeah. Like, feel like at some point we're getting too specific on
And
things which
that's
are not.
like this whole thing is meant to be very comprehensive, but you can skip anything you want.
Yeah, I wasn't meaning it in a particular way. It would be applicable to others where it wouldn't be applicable to us.
What
Like,
priority areas?
I mean, technically specific events, announcements, meetings, and things like that. But you're giving that to it, information to it later, like with your manual and automatic triggers anyway. So,
Is that a
okay.
cat? What was that? Oh, are you wheezing?
I think that's a wheeze, yeah.
I'm sorry to laugh at that.
No, that was actually like, I mean, it's not happening now. No, my nose is a little bit blocked.
Just out of nowhere, I heard like a kitten meow.
Apparently, I make a little funny wheeze.
Okay. Anyway,
Okay. On another note, moving swiftly on. Oh, have you put music on?
oh no, I left the huddle in Slack, so I bet maybe it's playing music for you now.
Yep, it is.
I
I've got.
just noticed I was still in it, so I left it 30 seconds ago.
I had smooth jazz playing. I was like, did you put on music? It wasn't
All
that
right.
bad of a comment, Jesus Christ.
Mew. Uh, is there anything for this that we should point out specifically? I don't think so. Like this, she's catching on that there's two of us. We're
Which is good.
independent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if we need to call out anything
No,
specifically.
it might have enough from what I gave it as well before.
Yeah. No,
So,
let's just hit enter there. Yeah.
yep, okay.
Collaborative intersection. Nice.
Systems thinking applied to design and workflow. AI enhanced creative process and design workflows. No code, low code. Philosophy, practice human. Okay, yeah. Nice. Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Okay. What core value should every
Well, curiosity, right? I mean, we already mentioned that, but
Hmm.
thoroughness or like what do we want? Yeah, this is the over-indexing thing. Like, what do we value from the AI? If the AI does something too much, but we're okay with that, what would those things be? Or what are some things that have to the non-negotiable thing?
We wanted it to establish. We wanted it to make connections where, well, a partner in crime, really, I guess, to a certain degree.
Do we
But
want
what
it to
core values?
be skeptical? Do we want it to be optimistic or pessimistic? Do we want what kind of framing do we want it to have, or which do we not want it to have?
We're talking characteristics here, then, to a certain extent. So,
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah, I
of
think.
of course, I
Yeah,
want
go
it to be
ahead.
of course, I want it to be optimistic, but not
Hmm.
blindsiding us.
Not glazing us.
We want to be truthful. We want to be honest with it in terms of the information it's giving us. We want it to be factual. We don't want hallucination. We don't want any hallucinations to a certain
No,
degree,
that it
to an
never
extent.
knows if it's hallucinating. So yeah.
Okay, well that's a fair point, but we also don't want it to um pass. I That was kind of all of mine. I just don't want it
Hmm.
to be kind of giving me false information.
Hmm.
I want things to be fact checked. I want it to be
Well, we could do things like a rule of thumb for the AI should be to, whenever possible, present evidence backing up assertions or things like that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That would be a good way of putting it.
In general, let's reiterate the importance of curiosity for the AI, but also, especially in the context of conversations, if there are assertions being made, to provide evidence for those assertions so that we can dig into things on our own as well. Having said that, it's important, in the spirit of curiosity, for the AI to be open to possibilities and seeing things that would otherwise be passed over. There. Send.
Yeah.
I think I think we're getting a very comprehensive about me now. This is the final section, okay?
Values, working principles.
Can you give me the completed about me all at once so that I can copy paste the whole thing now?
And also make sure it's coherent across all the different sections now that we've added more stuff as you went down.
I think
You think it will do that?
she should already, yeah.
Okay.
We'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you
As you.
have 20 plus years in creative agencies?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm 37, believe it or not. Been working in
I guess,
design
yeah,
since I was 17.
I changed streams a few times.
I mean, now
Okay.
when I say creative agencies, it's like marketing agencies, creative agencies, tech companies, like they're all the same thing these days.
Let me know if you see if there's anything that seems to be missing.
I was actually just thinking about the term creative agencies now and whether or not that's still applicable. But no, there's nothing that's like jumping out as out of space. Yeah, okay.
Let's bring it on over here. There we go.
And we're going to just drop it into place. So, okay.
Just doing a little bit of cleanup.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of cleanup. Okay, so now that we've got all that set up and the About Me is completely filled out, we've got both of our organizations kind of incorporated in the whole thing. So what we want to do is... Well, this was actually where you and I stopped and said we'll work it out on the call.
We'll do it live. Yeah.
We'll do it live. So,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was thinking goals. Like, what's the next step onto this? Did we create a project last week? Or did we just get through to the...
I don't know if we did. I'll let you check in on that.
We've got one project, so we've got the Giga Extremes project, which is what we're linking all of this to. We've got some highlights to
Presumably
go
that's
off
the
there.
only project we're going to be doing.
Well, yeah. At the moment. We'll see what the next one is. But for now,
Who
yeah.
knows? Oh,
So,
good point. I don't know if you meant that, but good point.